Can you tell me your name?
My name is Izabela Konopacka.
And where are you from?
From Poland.
From Poland, excellent. And what brought you to this convention today?
I have been supporting this movement for some years. When I was the president of the European Bar Federation. This is an organization that associates national and regional bars. This is we can say, lawyers organization representing almost 1 million lawyers. I met Marian Rajavi and the women of NCRI. And when I heard their stories, their mission, and consider what was going on in Iran with women's rights, I decided to strongly support this movement.
And how long have you been involved?
Since 2023.
Excellent. And what do you think is the most important message from this event and what you would like to share with the world, what you know about Iran?
Iran is not a democratic country nowadays, and people freedoms are not are violated, putting it clearly. And they have not been violated just this year or last year, but it has been happening for many years. And this movement is an answer to reprehensible actions by the regime representatives, and especially when it comes to women's dignity, women's rights, because what's going on in Iran is taking into account how the law protects women's rights in many countries, specifically in Europe, in USA, in Canada and Australia, and many other countries. This is exceptional, what's going on in Iran with women's rights. This situation cannot continue. This is the voice. This is not just my voice, separated voice. Right? This is the voice of all of us who have gathered here today.
Absolutely. And what do you think is, we have the first option and the second option of appeasement and intervention, and then the third option, obviously, which is what we're advocating for. What should people around the world know about the third option and how they can help, how they can support moving forward?
That's a very tough question because, in fact, of course, the decisive actions of the government are needed. And the government must condemn the regime, and the situation that the people who fight for democracy face in Iran, executions and tortures and deprivation of basic human rights. So the government must take decisive actions, as they did when it comes to Ukraine. And the same case should be with Iran. So to terminate diplomatic relations, to show clear support for the opposition, for free Iran, the opposition of free Iran, and to help those who fight for democratic and free Iran, regardless of what cost in terms of economy the governments will pay. Being like democratic country is not about economy. It's not just about economy. And in Europe, we have achieved a lot, not because we had as the aim the increase when it comes to economy, but because we were united in our vision, in values that we uphold, and this is the most important.
And gender equality is at the very heart of all of this. And I think as a woman, it's a difficult time to be alive in the world, although it was probably more difficult at other times. But it feels like a real awakening. I'm from the United States, and so we're really going through this massive, unveiling of the truth and the dirt in the kitchen, if you will. And so as a woman, I know that has a lot to do with why you're here, because you resonate with those women. What message would you like to send to other women in the world right now who are, dealing with various forms of oppression or grieving the loss of what they once knew.
I know. I would like someone today has mentioned that we need to create community, and of course, alone we can do nothing. But we have to have other women, and we have to unite, and we have to stay strong, and we have to form the community. Only when we form a community of women supporting one another, we can really give clear message, and we can clearly state our demands, our objections when it comes to equality. And I think we have to support each other and one another. And I know that the situation is difficult when it comes to women's rights, progression, and the USA, but also it happens in Europe. We have a lot of conservative parties.
Right.
We have it in Poland, where the support for the Conservative Party is growing. And we experience it in many parts of the world. But and I know that the price some women have to pay for advocating women's rights are very high. Is very high. Mm-hmm. And what they instead also, I know that many women are offered great benefits for staying silent, and we all know it. Because feminism is not about, is not against men, and we are not fighting against men, we are fighting about patriarchy. And there are also women, I must say, with much regret that support patriarchy. We have to do something about it, yes?
I agree.
There must be a common call to action for all women all over the world to unite and to support the Iranian women, to take them as examples that even in such a threatening environment, they could stand together and they could voice themselves, yes? Whereas in Europe, we enjoy the freedom of speech, but many of us do not exercise it.
Yes, we are seeing that in the United States too. There's a lot of people who are being quiet, looking the other way, and they're not even necessarily benefiting from it, but they don't want to lose their position, whatever that position may be. It might be with their parents or other family members or jobs or whatever. For me, the greatest inspiration is just seeing what these women have gone through and how inspiring they are.
Exactly.
And they didn't have a choice. Mm-hmm. They didn't have a choice. And so to me, it feels like I have to make the choice to join them because they didn't get to make that choice. Yes. And so for me,
I do agree.
It's like, okay, well, maybe I'm going to upset some people on LinkedIn today.
Yes, and maybe they will stop liking me, but
I don't want them to like me anyway.
Exactly.
And it can be very isolating, as you know, I'm sure. Like when you are advocating strongly for women or for anything that's going against the status quo, it can be very isolating, very lonely. Even your own friends, don't always understand. In fact, most of the time your friends and family understand the least.
Yeah.
So what would you say to women who are kind of feeling that a little bit of that drain or that grieving? What was the inspiration that you really took that keeps you coming back?
The inspiration comes from other women. I am surrounded by women. I try to to have the circle of women that think the same way, that support me. Of course, in the past, maybe the circle was bigger and I had more women as my friends. But now I really feel that they strongly support me in difficult moments, in moments of criticism. As we all know, if I say something which is not very popular, yes, I am criticized. I also have men supporters. As the president of FBE, I was really very confident that I have to introduce new regulations to our statute that was many years ago drafted by men. And I proposed the change to include women in the board, to have greater diversity. And I saw a big opposition to this proposal, to this initiative, but finally it was implemented. And I think that future generations will really appreciate it. But this is the price that we have to pay, This is the price we have to pay.
It's worth it. It's worth
I
it.
do agree.
And one last thing, what would be your message to the women of Iran who have suffered so greatly? What would your message be to them?
Yeah, as I said, be confident, be strong, stay united, because you are fighting for the dignity, and this is worth it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for taking time to sit with me. And I really appreciate your time and inspiration and all the hard work you're doing. And I look forward to staying in touch with you as well.
Okay, thank you so much.
Produced by Heartcast Media.